What's up guys, I'm Sean. Today I'm going to be installing a gas tank skid plate on my 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. The TRD Off-Road model already comes with a gas tank skid plate, but it's a plastic unit, and you can see I already scratched it up. So today I'm going to be upgrading it to this. It's an aluminum skid plate from Bay Area Metal Fab. I went with Bay Area Metal Fab because they're local to me. I also like the quality of their work. My rock sliders are from them. My bumper reinforcement brackets for my winch is from them, as well as my cat mount chop plate is from them as well. It weighs about 50% lighter than steel, so this weighs about 16 pounds, whereas the steel version weighs about 33 pounds. So half the weight may not seem like much, but as you add more and more weight to the truck, it starts to add up. Also with aluminum, it's not going to rust or corrode, and I also don't have to worry about painting it. Now, the downside with aluminum is that it digs into rocks, whereas steel will slide over rocks, but I'm not doing any crazy off-roading anyway, and the gas tank should not support the weight of the truck. So, aluminum skid plate for the gas tank is probably okay. And the factory plate is plastic, so it's not going to be as strong as aluminum or steel. Now these venting hose on the skid plate could be a potential area for weakness if you get some kind of crazy sharp rock that punctures through here, or a sharp branch. Then you can have a leak into your gas tank. You can be stuck in the middle of nowhere. So going for aluminum or steel is going to provide more protection because it's a one solid piece. And if you look at the skid plate right here, I already scraped that up a few times right here. Also, the front of the skid plate doesn't have any protection over here. So this front area can get dragged on a dirt mound or by a rock or crazy snow, and this part can be yanked down. Whereas the Bay Area Metal Fab skid plate has that sloped front end part that can help protect the front end of the gas tank. You want to start this project with a quarter tank or less of gas, because the gas tank is known to expand, making the threads for this a little bit shorter. So they recommend starting this project with a quarter tank of gas or less. First off, we're going to remove the 4 nuts on the factory skid plate using a 12mm. And we're going to reuse these nuts, so you want to keep it. 2 more towards the back. Use the hand to brace the skid plate because it's going to fall. There it is. It's super simple to remove. Now the TRD Off-Road model comes with these gas tank straps. If you have a Tacoma that's a SR5 or Sport model, you're not going to have these straps. So you're going to have to buy these straps that comes with these studs to mount gas tank skid. The aluminum skid plate, as I mentioned earlier, has this front end that protects the front of the gas tank skid. So before we lift up the aluminum skid plate, we're going to use this bracket that came with the kit. The truck has this factory brace, but these holes are huge, and that's what this plate is for. You drop it in here, and we're going to use the supplied hardware for the front a little bit later. I used the jack to jack up the skid plate to help line up the studs with the hose on the skid plate. And if you look here, the skid plate has slots in them so they can move around a little bit on the front and the back. And then when you install the nut, you might have to push up a little bit just to get some thread going. You might have to use the jack on a corner and jack it up a little bit just to help you get the threads going. But it should line up. And if it doesn't, you could kind of move the strap around a little bit, or maybe even slot this a little bit more. But I didn't have any issue once I lowered the skid plate a few times. Used the jack to help finesse it up and line everything up. So the bolts are loosely installed. Now I just have to install the front. We just have to use the hardware that came with the kit. Line it up with the hole in the frame rail and that bracket that we dropped in earlier, and drop in the washer and nut. If you wanted to, you could flip the bolt so the bolt hangs down and then you install the nut this way. It'll be easier, it just doesn't look as clean. Now I just have to snug it all up, make it tight, but not too crazy tight where you strip it. Alright guys, that's the wrap. The 2 bolts right here have been tightened down. The factory nuts have been tightened down right there and back there. The skid plate clears the drive shaft no problem. It also clears the leaf spring no problem. And it's still very low profile, so I don't lose any ground clearance. The factory gas tank skid plate weighs about 5 pounds. And this aluminum one weighs about 16 pounds. So I added about 11 pounds of weight, but it's at the bottom of the truck, so it's not a big issue. And what's nice about this skid plate is it has this front end protection, which is nice for the rocks. And there's no longer any holes at the bottom of the gas tank skid plate, so I don't have to worry about any rocks or branches puncturing the skid plate. So it gives me a little bit more peace of mind when I go off-roading in the middle of nowhere. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.